Well, hello. Thanks so much for checking out our channel. My name is Steve Moore and I'm the owner of Run More, this brick and mortar running shop located right behind me in Carroll County, Maryland. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new Altra Paradigm 5. This shoe was originally supposed to come out in July of 2020, but got pushed back to August of this year. So if you've been with the Paradigm before this, you've known it's been due for an update. The old version, the 4 and the 4.5 were essentially the same shoe. Little tiny tweaks, but even like the color schemes that they were using were the same. So, we really loved the Paradigm, the 4, the 4.5. It was great. There was a lot of stuff in the shoe that to us was brand new, like technologies and such that we were able to pull and talk about this shoe that was different from a lot of stuff that we had on the wall. And honestly, since this shoe came out, we have seen other brands that have done some of the stuff that Altra did in that Paradigm and started incorporating it more into their shoes. So I really think they hit a home run with the 4 and the 4.5. But it was time for an update, and we got kind of tired of seeing like the same color, so it's just always nice to get something fresh out there. So we were really excited about this because now these have a lot of great colorways and such. It's a nice improvement. It's a great improvement on a shoe that was already great. I really don't like getting into like good shoe versus bad shoe because in my opinion, there's always things about a shoe that's right for the right person. And a lot of times what we're doing with these videos is I'm just trying to find a way that we can talk about what a shoe is designed for and the audience that it's intended for so that that person can find that shoe and become a healthy, happy, long-time runner, because that's our goal in the end, is get more people running, walking, active. But this is a shoe that has so many things about it that's so great for so many people. I have no problem saying this is a great shoe, and it's a great shoe because there's so many people that will find benefits in this shoe because there's a lot of things that this shoe can do depending on what your needs are. So I guess I'll back up a little bit. This is from Altra. If you're not familiar with Altra, they are a company that was founded out in Utah. They are a zero drop platform, so the heel and the toe are on the same platform, but it has an arch built into it. And it also has a rounded foot-shaped toe box. Again, we talk about the idea when I'm talking to customers and people who come in like really narrow shoes. I'm not going to pick on any brands here, but sometimes you'll look at somebody in their shoe and they're so narrow and so pointed. And we say a lot of times, and they'll come in with some foot injuries and stuff going on and say, you wouldn't put your hand in a glove that wasn't shaped like your hand. Maybe a mitten, but like you wouldn't put your hand in a glove that was all like. But we'll do that with our feet in shoes. We'll see people like come in all shapes and sizes in shoes that are all kinds of weird formats. Some are like toed up this way and all goofy, but it makes sense. It makes sense to have our foot in a shoe that's shaped like our foot. Big duh there, right? So that's one of the great things about this shoe is that it gives your foot position and room to kind of do its job and display out. It's great for balance. It's great for circulation. It's great if you're like me and you've got like a rounded big old wide foot, or you've got a bunion, or you've got Morton's neuroma, or you've got circulation issues, or you've got balance issues. There's a ton of reasons why it makes sense to go to something that's more zero drop. It's not for everybody, and some people find the transition going into something that has that traditional 8, 10, 12 millimeter offset to it, down to zero, to be challenging. Fine. But if you're looking for something that's more than that zero drop, a little more balanced, this is a great option. And this being their biggest max cushion stability offering, it's a great shoe for all day stuff, long runs, walking, anything you're sort of looking for that's going to be more than a half mile, 30-minute activity. This should be a great option for you, in my opinion. So where this sort of falls on the Altra spectrum there, like we have our little fast guy, something like an Escalante, which is low, it's minimal, it's bouncy, it's fun. And then we kind of move up a little bit and we go into something like a Torin. This is our standard Torin. There's also the Torin Plush, which is just a little more cushion. And then we have our big beefy Paradigm. So a lot of times you'll see stuff along the categories where you'll have something that's like a real light shoe and then maybe a real light shoe with some stability, and then like a middle of the road cushion shoe and some stuff that has some stability, and then a big max cushion shoe and stuff with some stability. This shoe is kind of a combination of a bunch of stuff, and that's also why I like pulling it we'll be enjoying pulling it for a lot of people, because it's got the guide rails to it. And it's one of the things that very, very, very few shoes that we were carrying when the Paradigms were coming out, the old Paradigms, had that guide rail system. So we're gonna just real quick talk about that. So it has this nice band of support that wraps all the way from the heel to the toe. Each set of shoes has it, so that if you're moving to the outside, it will correct you. If you're moving to the inside, it will correct you. A traditional stability shoe, which so many people were accustomed to for so long, going back to like the original old school stuff, like a Brooks Adrenaline, you will see that it was just stable on the medial side. So it was only doing one thing. It was pushing you from this way out to this way. So a lot of people found that it was great. It really helped people balance out. But if you were somebody who maybe went to the other side, that wasn't helping you. Or if you're somebody who maybe hurt your foot, and so now one foot is flatter than the other, it's now pulling you and pushing you both the exact same way on each shoe going from medial to lateral. So maybe one foot is running nice and neutral and one foot's real kind of jacked up from something going on. Well, it'll fix this foot, but now it's going to overcorrect that foot. So the idea of having its own set of suspensions on each shoe makes a lot of sense. And the idea that depending on how you're favoring one foot or the other, it will correct just where your need is in that shoe. Some people call it, bumpers in bowling. That's a nice visual to it, is that, if you're bowling strikes, you never hit those side bumpers. But if you have an off ball in one way or the other, it will correct it. So that makes sense for me for like a lot of different reasons. So again, now if you're somebody who comes in and says, I severely underpronate, I wear the outside of my shoe out, I'm constantly going this way, I constantly hurt maybe my hips, maybe I have some IT band stuff because I'm rolling out this way. Well, great, this little bumper here will push you out this way. I'm coming in, I've got real bad plantar fasciitis, I got real flat feet, I'm really rolling in this way, my ankles hurt me. Well, great, now I'll fix you this way. Now you come in and I'm just a straight neutral runner. Every shoe goes right down the middle. I don't need any guidance whatsoever. Fantastic. You'll be fine. This isn't not gonna push you one way or the other, but it has great, tremendous cushion. So it's great for somebody going long distance, all day, on your feet, and you need a little bit of help, you don't need help, doesn't matter. No matter what your natural inclination is, this shoe will accommodate you no matter what's going on with your foot. Comparing it to something that has, like, you're looking again like the Escalante, this shoe comes in at a 30 millimeter stack height. That's big, that's beefy. Now you look at it and it looks like it'd be really big and beefy. It's really not. It's really not that bad. It's 11.2 ounces on the men, 9.2 on the women. Not bad at all whatsoever for what the weight and for what it is. It's extremely plush. When you put it on, especially if you're comparing it to the old guy, the 4.5, you immediately can feel how nice and just plush. It's the only word you can use, and it's funny because they have a shoe called the Torin Plush. This is way plushier than that shoe in my opinion. It just feels really good putting it on. Walking around, I was having a paradigm 4.5 on one foot and a 5 on the other foot. You can feel it, even though it's the same midsole they've been using, the Ego Blend midsole that they were using in this shoe. It's the same that's in this shoe, which is also, ironically, the same in the Escalante. It's their super plush, responsive, proprietary midsole that they're using on these two models, and it's fantastic. It really does give you that nice balance of soft cushion but some responsiveness to it. We have some shoes on our wall back here that are really big and super and plush, and they're so plush you just don't feel like you're getting energy return on it. I mean, that's fine for some people. Some people really like that feeling of just marshmallow sink in, just totally inside the shoe. This shoe, you kind of get that combination of like really nice, soft, plush marshmallow, but when you want to go, it kind of helps push you back forward. It does have that spring and that bounce to it, which is one of the reasons why so many people loved the original Escalante. So this has that kind of the best of both worlds. We're getting really good, great cushion, but we still feel like we can run in it. And a lot of times, again, when I'm pulling shoes for people that are like, I really just want the biggest max cushion shoe, I couldn't fathom running in that kind of shoe. Something that's so soft and you're just sinking down in the ground. It feels to me like you're running in like sand, like you have to get some energy to get back out through your gait cycle. Where this, again, it's got that bounce to move through you, to move with you, but it's really nice and soft in the meantime. So that part about it is great. The foot-shaped toe box on it is great as well, and we always get a lot of people of like, oh, how wide is it? Is it too wide? Is it not wide enough? Over the years, I understand that's got to be difficult when you have a shoe that is really a big rounded foot-shaped toe box, and you want to make sure that everybody is happy along the way. And there are people that say, I would love to run this shoe, but it's too big for me. And then there's a lot of people that say, it's not big enough and it used to be bigger. This feels like a really good wide Altra shoe. It feels really good. I'm wearing it in an 11.5, which is what I wear in a lot of my other road shoes. I have some stuff from Altra that I go up to 12 because it's not quite wide enough for me, especially on the trail stuff. Like I'll go up to like a 12 in like in my Lone Peak or my Timps and such, but I am a 11.5 in most of my road shoes from almost all my other brands there. Sometimes an 11.5, sometimes 11.5 wide. This fits me perfect as an 11.5. The width on it is fantastic. Of all of the shoes that we carry here from Altra, to me, the one that fits my foot best is the standard Torin. It's not the Plush, it's not the Escalante. It fits my foot as far as the width goes. I think to me, this is my favorite widest of the Ultras that we're carrying now. This actually fits even better. I was comparing it side by side with my Torrent, and this to me feels a little bit wider. And if you've had a chance to put on like the new Olympus that just came out from Altra, which is fantastic as well, that also seems really nice and wide. So I think we're seeing stuff, and even the new Escalante seems like it's wide. So there was definitely, it seems like a dip in Altra where they were getting a little narrower, but if you've stuck with them through maybe getting a little bit narrower than you had been accustomed to from previous iterations of their shoes, I think you're gonna be really happy with the changes that they've made with this. So the upper is also a good bit different. That was one thing that was kind of cool with the old one, is, I'm gonna do a terrible job showing this, you could like see your sock through there. Like people would put it on and they had bright socks and you could see it right through there. So people would come and say, I'm looking for a really airy shoe. I got hot feet issues, all that nonsense. This was really fun because you could see through it. Now the trade-off being like we're here in Maryland, and it gets cold. It gets cold in the wintertime. So some people would come in and say like, it's almost too breathable because I threw my foot through here now. This is a nice blend. Again, it kind of reminds me of the Torrent, where it's got this stretchy material through it. You can't see all the way through it. It's got like a little overlay on top of it of like a little stretchy, breathable material to it. It's not that it feels less breathable than this shoe. It just feels like it hugs your foot better. It doesn't fold up, because that did have some weird folding through the toe sometimes. This just feels better. The upper just feels better. The entire heel cup is way more soft, way more plush. When you just put it on, it just feels like a nice upgrade. And even walking around with one shoe on, one of the old ones on one foot and one of the new ones on the other, it sounds softer. I use this store a lot. When people are walking and running through the store, as you can see, I have this big old runway where people go in the back, and I have a treadmill back that way. I'll listen to people when they're walking and running, and you can hear people clomping on some shoes. You're like, that just doesn't sound like it's a good option for you. But kind of putting on one and one on each foot, walking around, I sound like I'm landing softer in this shoe, and it feels softer. Even though the stack height is still 30 millimeters, whatever difference they made in the Ego blend in this, it just feels a little bit softer under my foot. So just a nice update there as well. I had heard some rumors that they were going to remove the little stability pods that they had built into this shoe. They have these 3 little pods designed to just give a little extra support when you're landing to kind of keep you even more stable. I had like 1 or 2 people that said it felt like it was rubbing into their foot. You can see it a little more on the old ones. They're still there, but it seems like it's a little more flush into the shoe. Like I almost thought they weren't there, and they did try to take away some of the attention on it. Like you can see it when you're looking at it. But on the old one, they really drew a lot of attention to what it was. So I quite honestly feel like people won't even notice, and it won't even be a thing. But they are still there, but it does seem really more flush in there. So I don't know if anybody's gonna have any issue or even notice that they're there. So this shoe is out now. It's $150, which I think is a great price point for it. If you get it through our website, it is 10% off, and you get it for $135, and we'll ship it out for free. We very much appreciate it. Great for long distance stuff, great for all day walking, great for a little bit of everything. One other thing that I just realized that I wanted to mention with this shoe. I love pulling the shoe for somebody who's coming off of a pretty serious injury. We have people come in here all the time that are sent from PTs and such, and they might be in like a walking boot, they might be kind of readjusting to getting back out there to being active, or coming off a really bad injury. And if you think about what this shoe is, when somebody comes in with like 1 foot in a walking boot and 1 not, this shoe is 0 drop. So if you have some sort of weird balance issue because of your walking boot, you don't want something that's going to already be doing something, that's already going to be pushing you and pulling you in one direction. This is the perfect shoe to kind of get back to what you're doing, because as you need more or less stability, this shoe will kind of work with you. Where again, a traditional stability shoe is always doing something the same way all the time. This shoe will work with you as you're getting better and as you're getting back to what's going on. So also, it's got so much cushion on it. It's going to feel great under your foot. It's going to make sure that it's giving you a good amount of support, not too much, not too bad. But you can wear it for all day stuff. People wear this for marathons, halves, a little bit of everything. It'll be a great option for you. So if you have any questions on this shoe, feel free to leave it down below in the comments. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Again, thank you so much for all the support. Again, feel free to get this or anything off our website. Just enter promo code RUNMORE, no space, RUNMORE, and we'll ship it out for free, and you'll save 10%. Thanks so much, and we'll see you out there.